All right, everybody, welcome back. This is Zach and Sully podcast. We are here. This is the Super Bowl edition now. So, with the Super Bowl being this weekend on Sunday, the matchup being between the Carolina Panthers and the Denver Broncos, we're here to discuss a little bit about that game, a little bit more halftime stuff, pregame shenanigans, a couple interesting and ridiculous things, in my opinion, that happened in the ESPN. So, I'm here with my buddy Josh, aka Sully. What's going on, man?
How we doing today, guys? How's it going? Happy to be here.
All right, so I guess we can get right into it. Let's talk a little bit about the game, I guess. So, I mean, everybody kind of like knows from the start that Denver is a big time underdog. Carolina, I think, is a 5.5 point favorite in this game. Peyton Manning, like we've talked about in previous episodes, and he's been a target of scrutiny this entire year because he's been plagued with injury, age questions, retiring questions. He has not looked like the same Peyton Manning, which is amazing to me that they've even got to the Super Bowl. I found that very, very, very surprising. I honestly think he might have had the worst season by a quarterback in the history of the NFL to get to the Super Bowl, which is saying a lot considering the history that Peyton Manning has had. Do you kind of agree with me on that? I think the way Peyton Manning has been throwing absolute ducks all this year. I haven't seen him really like have a ball. He like got back in the pocket and like threw a pass where I felt like, oh yeah, well, he's consistently getting better as the year gets on and blah blah blah. I don't know. You tell me. I don't see any improvement, to be honest.
He's looked pretty brutal. That's what I've seen. But he's really lucky because obviously that defense has been fantastic for him. One kind of side note I thought was interesting, and I don't really think we touched upon it. Tom Brady went over to C.J. Anderson after the Broncos took down the Pats and said, "You deserve to be in this league. You're a good player. Go out there." I thought that was kind of cool. I know Katie Nolan talked a little about a couple days ago in her podcast how you kind of want to root against the Broncos because they beat the Pats. If you're a Patriots fan, but you got stuff like that going on. Tom kind of endorsing the Broncos, if you will, to throw in a political term. I don't know. I'm gonna think this is a blowout. That's where my camp's at right now. I don't think this is gonna be a close game in the slightest. I don't know. Do you disagree?
I don't. I honestly think that I've been like searching and like trying to like research a little bit just to find a alternative to me seeing that how Denver can pull this off. And I know I'm really riding them short with this because the defense is phenomenal, but Carolina on both sides of the ball, they're just an incredible football team, and they got a guy in Cam Newton compared to what Peyton is. Peyton is an old 39-year-old quarterback who's had trouble throwing the football this year versus a guy who's 6'5", 245 pounds, who can throw the ball like 70 yards down the field. And if nothing is down the field, he can take off and run, and it takes two guys to bring him down. So yeah, it's different obviously because not the offenses aren't on the field at the same time, but it kind of makes you think. Like on both sides of the ball, it's like, well, when Denver's offense goes out there and Peyton Manning isn't playing too good, or if Denver's got the guys on their defensive side that can make plays. I mean, I think they led the league in takeaways this year. I'll look up on that. Yeah, Carolina had 39 takeaways this year, and they combined 35 points off of them, like returning them for touchdowns. So, and I know Peyton Manning, he looked like he could get the job done in the AFC, but the AFC is awful. They're terrible. And I know you're a big Patriots fan and stuff, but like, who did Denver play in that first game? Pittsburgh. Ben Roethlisberger was banged up. Antonio Brown didn't play in the game. I mean, he didn't really have to do much. Pittsburgh's defense is terrible. I mean, they have a couple of young guys on the rise at the linebacker position, like Shazier and stuff, that aren't bad. But there's nothing to me that I saw in that game where I was like, yeah, like, Denver's really making a statement. They kind of just weaseled out of the game against Pittsburgh. I mean, it came down to the final play against New England. I just think Carolina and the NFC is way more superior to the AFC. I think there's going to be a lot more problems for Denver in this. Like I said, I agree with you. I just can't see how he can pull this off. I don't.
Yeah, I think one of the big matchups is going to see how Luke Kuechly is going to be able to match up against that Denver offense. Again, they've been very mediocre at best. We've kind of talked about it a lot, like you just said. And let's not forget to give credit to Carolina's D. They've really been doing fantastic all season long. I read a column by John Couture of the Boston Herald. It was in the Standard Times yesterday, and it said that Luke Kuechly's a a little more exposure away from becoming a J.J. Watt. You know, he's that high intensity kind of poster boy for big work ethic and stuff like that.
I hate J.J. Watt so much.
I disagree.
He is so insufferable. Like the things he does, he just, oh man, like I just gonna interrupt the Super Bowl talk just to tell this quick story. Did you see that thing of him at the Houston Rockets game like 2 months ago? Like they like tried to play off this thing like, J.J. Watt's at the Rockets game. Like, J.J. Watt is on the NBA bench of the Rockets. Oh, he doesn't belong there. Oh, that's so cool. He's gonna try and sub into the game. He's like, and then he tries to get into the basketball game, and people are like looking around like, oh, there goes J.J. Watt. He doesn't play basketball. What is he thinking? And I'm just sitting there like, this is so stupid to have him on the court. And then James Harden, he looks at him like literally looked at him like, who the hell is this guy? I don't even know who this guy is.
Yeah, James Harden's off in his own little world, though. I mean, I'm telling you, ever since he started dating the Kardashian, man, it's all downhill from there.
But
yeah, no, just kind of
what you're saying about the game. Sorry to get off topic there for a little bit.
Going back to it, I think the big matchup, you know, we've talked about it all season long, how Cam Newton has made some of his wide receivers look elite, you know, and they really don't have an outstanding receiver, and he's changed that. You know,
the number one guy went down before the season even started, Calvin Benjamin, right?
Yep.
Carolina, right?
Yeah, and we you know, that's something we talk about. Tom Brady having the ability to do. You know, he's been able to make guys like Troy Brown, like Deion Branch look fantastic. Then they leave, they go elsewhere, and they can't do anything. So that I think Cam is the real deal. He I don't know. He gets on my nerves, and I'm going to go into this a little bit, and we can kind of transition. Man, I don't know. I don't know. He's a good guy. He's out there having fun. It's probably just because he does so well, and I don't, you know, he's a player of another team, and I don't want him to do that well. I don't mind the touchdown celebrations, the dancing. I think what he says, if you don't want me to dance, then don't let me score. You know, don't let me pick up a first down. I think that's totally all right. I'm not going to ever get mad at him for dabbing out on the field. I don't care about that kind of stuff. You know, I think that's great. If linebackers can sack and do sack dances, then why can't he do that? You know, but. I don't know. There's like a certain aura, and I think it's just because he's a good quarterback on another team. That's what I think.
Yeah, I feel like the same people who are upset with, like, especially if they're coming from a Patriots fan standpoint, if you like upset with Cam Newton, I wouldn't see why you wouldn't be upset with the crap that Gronkowski does every time he scores a touchdown when he spikes it. You think that pisses NFL fans off? Of course it does. I mean, I just think that it's like, and I saw a poll that was taken, and we're going to get into this in a little bit. It was on Sports Nation, and they were talking about how, like, they took different races of people, like white people and black people, to talk about the things that Cam Newton does, and the discrepancies on the polls were just, like, it was kind of, like, eye-opening. Like, I just think that because, like, a lot of white people had problems about what he did on the field and thought it was a lot to do with his race, and African-Americans thought it was different. And I kind of side with the African American side. I just don't think it's a big deal at all. Like anything that he does on the field, it's like he has a certain personality of the game. He brings this personality on the field, and you know, when they're winning and they're up, it gets the fans fired up. It gets the team fired up, and that's probably has a lot to do with why they did so well this year. And yeah, a lot of teams aren't used to that. So of course, when you see a guy running around the field, like coming from the sidelines and congratulating the defense after a defensive touchdown, that's going to piss off a lot of teams. But you know what? If you don't want that stuff to happen to you on the team, then you got to stop them. You can't let that stuff happen to you.
I think the J.J. Watt comparison is actually pretty valid. I like, you hate J.J. Watt.
No, that's a lot different. No, it is. I'm sorry. It is a lot different. It sounds like it is, but it's not. It's just, dude, J.J. Watt is so freaking annoying, though. He is just like, I don't know. Okay, so I mean, I'll put it in perspective like this. You have a guy like Cam Newton who, yeah, he showboats when he does things and all that kind of stuff. He looks like he's there for the team. He brings the team together, you know, with all the dabbing photos and stuff like that. J.J. Watt is the kind of guy, and it proved to me right when I watched Hard Knocks this year, who just puts on a freaking show for the camera for himself, not for the team. You know what I mean? Like, Hard Knocks is going on. They're filming the Houston Texans practice, and then the practice over, and then all the camera guys get their cameras out, and they're filming J.J. Watt pushing sleds around after the team has left. I'm like, that guy doesn't give a shit about the team. He cares about what people think of him. I just think he's like all about himself. He's an egomaniac. He's selfish. And I don't know. I think that's a lot different than what him and Cam Newton are, because I don't think Cam Newton's about himself. I think Cam Newton's just like, he gets pumped about the game, but he cares about his team. J.J. Watt seems like a very self-centered guy.
Cam Newton named his son Chosen. I mean, I can agree with what you're saying to a point, but Cam Newton is not completely selfless and for the team. And at the same time, do you think J.J. Watt became the best defensive end in the NFL by only pushing the sleds around after practice when the media was there? No, he does that all the time. There's no way he just does that for the 7 days that Hard Knocks is there, you know? Like, that is a habit.
Sully, dude. Dude, you don't think that pisses the team off, though? Like, when they're filming Hard Knocks and he's like, oh, this guy's going to be a hard ass and stay after practice and push the sled around? Like, that would piss me off if I was on the team. For the cameras, too. Yeah, Cam
I don't know.
does all this stuff.
Maybe someone else on the team should do it. The big difference between Cam Newton and J.J. Watt is that the Carolina Panthers are good and the Texans are not. That's what I think.
That has a lot to do with it too. I'll agree with that. Yeah, but I still think that at least it seems like Cam's teammates like him. I don't think that J.J. Watt's teams really like him that much. I really don't see that. They respect
Cushing and stuff like
player, but I don't really get the sense that, like, I don't know. He just seems like a very self-centered guy, and I don't know. Like, I was having this.
I think the big difference is the position, because Cam Newton needs to, he needs to be that kind of guy because he gets that big money, and the quarterback is the most important position on the field. Where J.J. Watt does that, and it doesn't matter that much. It doesn't matter how many times he can get after the quarterback, because if his team isn't putting up points, they're not going to win. I mean, that's a whole other discussion. I think Watt's a hindrance to the Texans because they can't afford to pay a good quarterback now, ever. They're never going to be able to because he makes so much damn money. That's another discussion.
It's completely yuck to have him around, but yeah, I realize we got a little off topic there and stuff because I just have a lot to say about him. But yeah, what else I wanted to bring up? Oh yeah, so also Kubiak, coach of the Broncos, and Ron Rivera. This is their first Super Bowl, both of them. So I mean, I would like bring up the inexperience of coaching in this, but you have two coaches who have never been here before, so that really has nothing to do with it. I don't really know how I feel about Kubiak as a coach. I mean, still, I mean, he obviously got the Broncos this far, but like their defense is pretty much incredible, and you got to give a lot. Isn't Wade Phillips the DC for Denver?
Yeah,
you got to give him. He should never have even had coached a team in the NFL. He is just sort of just strictly been a DC. That's what he knows. But I kind of want to give the edge to Ron Rivera. I don't know. For something about me, just doesn't have faith in Kubiak. I don't know. Something about him. I just don't feel like he's the kind of coach that would make a decision in the game that, like, when you have those like coaches like Belichick, guys like that, or I don't know, you go to college level, you got a guy like Saban or Urban Meyer. You just have that guy on the sidelines. That a coach can make an impact play off the field by like calling a play. And Kubiak just doesn't seem like that guy to me. I don't know. Maybe it's that time. Maybe it's because with that regime he had with Houston might have a lot to do with it. But
I don't disagree with you there. But I do think that they do have Peyton Manning as a benefactor. And Peyton Manning, after Tony Dungy, after Tony Dungy left Indianapolis, Peyton was kind of on his own as far as that goes. Peyton's never had a Belichick. Tony Dungy's not that good of an NFL coach. He was pretty good, but he wasn't
extremely, extremely overrated. Tony Dungy is one of the most overrated coaches of all time. Tony Dungy was the coach of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the early 2000s when they had a great team, and he could never get them to the promised land. And the first year he left, when Gruden took over that 03 team, Tampa Bay went to the Super Bowl, which brings me to another point. That was the last Super Bowl played in California. This is the first Super Bowl in 13 years since that game.
That was an awful Super Bowl. The Raiders got murdered.
Yeah. Because it was a Tony Dungy team that needed a better coach. So they brought in Gruden, and he brought that team to a completely another level, which answers your question. I think he is extremely, extremely overrated coach. I mean, with all those Colts teams that he had with Manning when in his prime and all those legends, they only got one Super Bowl. That's it? Come on.
Yeah. No, he's on the Hall of Fame ballot right now. He already didn't get in his first time around. I don't think he should ever get in. That's my personal opinion. I don't think he's nearly good enough.
He's not deserving to get in. I don't agree with that. What else could we talk about? So yeah, we can talk a little bit about the halftime show if you want to talk about that.
Coldplay, baby. Coldplay.
Coldplay, Beyonce, and Bruno Mars, I guess, are the three acts that have
Bruno Mars
been.
is gonna be back.
I read something about that. I don't know what's gonna happen. The thing I have a problem with is this. Like, you got Coldplay, I don't have a problem with, just because they've never done it. But Beyonce and Bruno Mars did it. They did it the last out of the last 5 years, and
Yeah, that's a little weird.
I like the tradition of them mixing it up and bringing new bands on and stuff. And now they're just bringing old acts from a couple years ago. But I'm excited for Coldplay. I mean, they were a band that I was brought up with. Obviously, it would be cool to see them there. Though I do have my problems with them because they only schedule those 8 shows in America. Remember, did I tell you about that?
Yeah.
So, but that's another situation. But yeah, I'm looking forward to Coldplay. So, give me your over under. Like, what songs do you expect Coldplay you think are going to play at the show?
They're gonna play that new one.
Adventures of a Lifetime.
What is it?
Adventures of a Lifetime.
Yeah. The one with the.
I think they're going to start the show off with that one.
Yeah, I do too. I think they're going to be kind of commercial, and they're definitely going to play Yellow or something from their early albums. Probably not Fix You. It's too quiet, like it's too sad. But
they're going to play Viva La Vida for sure.
Yeah. Oh, well, I hope so. I hope they play that whole album just continuously.
I think they're going to.
Princess of China, and they're going to bring Rihanna on stage. That's what I think.
See, so the Coldplay is going to go on. Beyonce will go on. She'll play some of their songs like "Drunk in Love," I bet, and probably some other. I honestly would not be surprised if Jay-Z made an appearance either. But
yeah, I don't know. I feel like he's above the Super Bowl halftime show. Like, I'm not going to do that.
Though? I mean, it's the most watched thing on the planet. Like, I don't understand how you could be more above than that.
Yeah, but if you're Jay-Z, why do you need that? You don't need that. Doesn't Coldplay have to pay?
Beyonce and Coldplay have it made. I don't think they need this.
Doesn't Coldplay have to pay the NFL to do that?
That was a rumor. I don't think they actually had to pay them though.
Oh, I thought. All right, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't know.
See, what I was looking forward to for the halftime show for the longest time was that, like, if a band like Coldplay was going to go on, they would have a couple acts, and I wanted the Guns N' Roses reunion for the halftime show. That's what I wanted.
I know, but it falls in line with the audience they already have, and that's why they'll never do it, unfortunately. They're trying to bring everyone together.
Come on, how great would that have been if, like, all the lights shut off in the stadium and you just hear, "You know where you are?" Like, everybody would have went nuts that knows of Guns N' Roses, and then Axl and Slash come out on stage. That would have been freaking awesome.
I would have loved that. I'm a big fan of mixing up the stars. That's why I think like Coldplay bringing in Beyonce and Bruno Mars isn't necessarily a bad idea because I don't know. You don't really see those collabs anymore. People don't do that stuff as often as they used to.
I don't know. I mean, you could expect anything. I mean, last year Katy Perry brought out Missy Elliott, so anything can happen. I feel like they're hiding something from us. I think there will be an act that shows up that we don't know of. I don't know if it's going to be like maybe Bruno Mars is that guy, but I kind of want somebody else. They already did a couple years ago. Bruno Mars was great. It was one of the best halftime shows I've seen. I just want.
What's your opinion on Bruno Mars? Period.
I like his music. I think he's extremely talented. He writes all his songs. He plays drums. He plays guitar, bass, like trumpet. He sings. He's a very, very talented dude. I got all the respect in the world for him. He's a pop artist who actually writes his own music. I don't care. I don't have a problem with pop music. It's not preferably my favorite genre of music, but you have a guy like him who like writes his music and he's very passionate about what he does and he gives a great performance. You can tell that a lot of his stuff isn't covered up. So yeah, I don't have a problem with him. I think he's fine.
I like him. I think he's a combination of the Police and Prince, but like not quite at the level of either of them.
He performed with Sting at the Grammys a couple years ago, and they did a great cover of "Walking on the Moon." It was awesome. And then Rihanna came on stage and they all sang Bob Marley songs. It was pretty cool. All right, national anthem is being done by Lady Gaga. How do you feel about that?
I don't know. I thought she was done with music, so I was a little bit surprised. I thought she was off doing stuff for American Horror Story, being a vampire and crap. I don't know. She's a good singer. I don't like her music, not particularly. But
how long do you think the national anthem is going to be?
2.5 minutes.
Yeah, I'll go around. I think. I hope she doesn't do anything extravagant. I hate when people like develop their own way to sing it. You know what I mean? Like prolong and like hold the high notes. Like that just gets absolutely excruciating after a while. Like I can't stand that. I like it's like. You know when the people are like, oh, say, you know what I mean? When they carried on and it's like, you can start getting really antsy and you're just like, oh, okay, like let's speed this up. Like do it like Whitney Houston did like back in the early 90s and just
ESPN the magazine just did a huge story on that.
really
Huge story. It's awesome. Definitely worth a read. Yeah, and it talks
that's probably
about how
the greatest national anthem ever performed. She is unfortunately what happened to her career, but I mean not her career, her life. But I mean she had a fantastic musical career. But yeah, that was the best one ever performed. She was incredible. Get goosebumps.
you know it was pre-recorded, right?
What's that?
You know it was pre-recorded.
Was it pre-recorded?
Yeah, hers was the first one because I guess the year before, whoever did it had a really hard time hearing herself and hearing her pitch because it's so loud in there. So they were like, "Yeah, we don't want you to mess it up." So they pre-recorded it.
Damn.
Well, they did it like
he's still saying it, so I guess. I mean, like that was like the Red Hot Chili Peppers a couple years ago when they none of them played their instruments. Anthony Kiedis was the only one who actually sang.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you didn't see Flea's bass guitar was unplugged. Like they were being obvious about it.
Oh, I had no idea. That was the year they teamed up with Bruno Mars, right?
Yeah, that was they came out on stage and Flea was like playing the bass, pretending, and his guitar was unplugged on stage. He just had a guitar out there.
Yeah, but they have like wireless amps now and stuff like that. I don't know. That's what I assumed.
Yeah, so I guess. I don't know. I don't know what to believe in anymore. I had no idea that Whitney Houston performance was pre-recorded, but like obviously I'm not going to take any credit away from her because that was that was still remarkable. She still sang it. Okay, so yeah, your favorite boy is going to be announcing this game. CBS, Jim Nantz, and your buddy Phil Simms will be doing it.
I wonder how many times they bring up the Patriots out of context of last year's Super Bowl.
I wonder how many times Phil Simms is going to doze off in the game. That guy can't even get through an announcement without making a mistake. He's just unbearable to listen to, and it was just hard to listen to him in that Denver New England game. I'm honestly thinking about turning my radio on and finding a station to stream the Super Bowl from because I don't know if I can listen to Phil Simms. I don't have a problem with Jim Nantz. He's like whatever to me, but Phil Simms, I can't stand him.
I just want Zoe to announce every football game ever. Scott Zolak, he's the greatest.
Yeah, he's
That's all I have. Huge homer. Oh, absolutely. That's why I love him.
Brady's back. Unicorns. Where's the beef?
It doesn't get old.
It's outrageous. All right. What else is there? So record high for prices for an ad. $5 million for a 30-second ad. I don't know what Super Bowl ads will be going this year. I haven't really been too impressed with the ones the last few years. The Budweiser ones always try to make people cry.
Did you get our ad in there?
The what?
Our Super Bowl advertisement.
Oh, our Super Bowl advertisement. Yeah, I'm like $6 million in debt actually just now. I figured we'd get a 40-second ad. Jesus. I can't believe that. $5 million for an ad. That is outrageous.
I know. How are we supposed to boost our show?
Yeah, I don't know how we're gonna boost our show. I'm gonna pay like a couple extra bucks to boost it on Facebook, I guess, just so people will click on it. He's like, hey, yeah, we got 138 views on YouTube. Sweet, dude. We're freaking on the rise.
I was gonna say, as far as advertising goes, the Squarespace ads with Key and Peele that are gonna be coming out, I think those are gonna be great. I think those are gonna be definitely worth checking out.
Yeah, Key and Peele they're hilarious together, so I'm looking forward to seeing them too.
Legal Larry says we can't use player names, team names, or the word touchdown. Well, I gotta solve for that. I say touch, you say down. You're forgetting the lisp on Peele. Like, legal Larry, yeah, the lisp is so. But yeah, that's all right. So we pretty much wrapped up most of the topics in the Super Bowl. We talked about the preview and stuff. We talked about halftime show, pregame stuff, announcing, commercials. So yeah, this leads us to the final conclusion. What do you got? What are your predictions for the game?
Carolina 34. I'll say Denver 7.
34-7.
Yep, I'm going big, baby. I'm going big.
Man, I just don't like. I know it might get ugly, and I don't want to disrespect Peyton Manning because he's been in the league for so long. And I'm trying to find an alternative to but just the way Carolina played against Arizona, man, I can't. I'm definitely not going with Denver. In order for Denver to win the game, DeMarcus Ware and Von Miller are going to have to play a flawless, spectacular performance. Cam Newton's going to have a meltdown if that's going to happen either. He has to have just the worst game of his career. I mean, look at this. Like when Cam Newton's out of the shotgun, him and Jonathan Stewart, they've run for over 1,500 yards this season. That is astonishing. I'm going to go Carolina 38, Denver 21.
All right, that's respectable. I think there's no chance in hell that Denver has of even putting up 15 points on this team. But
there are late points. I think it's going to be like 38-7 in the fourth, and then Peyton Manning will like make the best of his career and throw like 2 late touchdown passes. But it's gonna. I don't see, unless like Cam Newton has a meltdown, I do not see Denver winning this game. No way.
If God decides to just take mercy on Peyton and help him win this one, do you think he comes back for another season? Do you think he's done?
Well, I know the rumors about him going to Los Angeles are prevalent right now, but I think that would be an absolute disaster for the Rams to do. Like, why would LA want to do that? I don't understand why you would want to bring a 39-year-old quarterback and like have a guy like Foles who you traded some guys away for. And yeah, Foles I don't think is the answer to that team, but like, why would you want to bring Peyton Manning there if he's only going to play a year or two? And he throws ducks. He can't throw the football anymore. He can't. Like, Carolina's going to be licking their chops tomorrow. I mean, tomorrow. I think the game's tomorrow. On Sunday, when he goes back to pass and the first one he throws in the air is like just a pop fly, I at least see Manning throwing like 2 or 3 picks in this game. And going back to the LA topic, like I just don't see how that helps the Rams in the long run.
Maybe they want him as a mentor, like Brett Favre to Rodgers.
Yeah, so then hire him as a coach after he retires. Don't bring him in and fill up a quarterback position and risk the team of And another thing is, I guarantee that would get LA people to go to games. Oh, Peyton Manning's the quarterback of the Rams. Like, what do you like? Like that would be cool to see, like an elite quarterback. But long run, I don't think that's healthy for that organization. But yep, that's what I'm going with. I think that I don't think Peyton Manning's gonna have a good game. But I will say this. If the Denver Broncos find a way to win the game and he throws for over 250 yards, I guarantee you those assholes are going to vote him MVP.
Yeah. There
have been some undeserving MVPs in the past few years of the Super Bowl, and like if the quarterback has a somewhat mediocre, okay game, they give it to him, which is so stupid. Like I thought Malcolm Butler should have won the MVP just on that one play last year.
Yeah, but it was too late. That people had already started voting the entire game, and he pretty much hadn't done anything.
Not taking anything from Brady though. Brady did have a good second half. So, but
and he got the truck.
That was to play the game.
Malcolm Butler got the truck anyway, so he's the real winner.
Exactly. So, all right, give me your MVP scenarios too, and then we'll wrap this up. What do you got? Carolina.
100% going to be Cam. I think he has to have 4 picks for it not to be him if the Carolina Panthers win. That's what I think. But I don't know. It'd be cool to see the BC boy take it home, Kinkley, and I'd be all right with that.
Like I said, if Peyton Manning throws over 250 and Denver wins, they'll find a way to give him the MVP, even though he probably wouldn't deserve it, and he might actually win it with like 2 picks. Because it'd be like, Peyton Manning, final great year, 250 passing yards and 4 picks, Super Bowl MVP. And then you got, I don't know, Demaryius Thomas, if he like find a way to get him the ball. Carolina, I'm gonna go Cam Newton, obviously. Here's my wild card pick for MVP, Greg Olsen.
Yeah, I can see that. I can absolutely see that. Also, Josh Norman.
Yeah, defensive player might be tough. It depends how many takeaways Carolina has, but if they do have a lot, then I don't have no problem giving that to them. So, but yeah. Well, there you go. You heard it from us. These are our Super Bowl picks, our predictions. You want to give any other final thoughts randomly other than this before we wrap this up?
I'm going to have my first professional sporting event coverage, or it's actually a college game, but I'm covering the Bean Pot on Monday, so I'll be at the TD Garden for that. Pretty excited. That's all I got.
My final thought is this. Just because Michigan got the #1 overall player in the country does not mean I'm scared one bit of that squad. Urban Meyer's keeping a close eye on them. And, yeah, that's my little bit of Ohio State bias for the today, I guess. So
yeah, but you guys also got Nick Bosa, so
yeah, we're happy with that.
Far behind.
But yeah, there's a little bit of college football at the end of the day. Like I said, good luck to all those teams in the Super Bowl. May your Super Bowl parties be awesome. Eat and drink as much as possible. Just remember you got to work tomorrow, which I am all for a holiday being on Monday after the Super Bowl. It should be illegal to have to do anything the Monday after.
I'm gonna eat so much buffalo chicken dip. I'm gonna explode. I can't wait.
I got to make some of that. That's good. That sounds extremely tasty. I'm thinking about making these Korean pork belly nachos. I saw it in like this tasty site, and they look amazing. So
hey, power to you. I'm
exactly.
Josh. That's Zach.
Zach.
Thanks for tuning in.
We could have come.
Happy Super Bowl Sunday. Peace.